Warning: this article contains spoilers for Poldark Season 4. What will happen in the Poldark Season 4 finale? Poldark Season 4 is coming to an end this week after 8 episodes of Love Triangles. Episode 8 will air on BBC One on July 29 at 9 p.m. and will be available on BBC iPlayer shortly after. Duels and illegitimate children. The trailer for the series finale dropped at the end of Episode 7, after Ross Poldark, played by Aidan Turner, read the heartbreaking letter his wife Demelza, Eleanor Tomlinson, left for him when she went back to Cornwall. The 40-second teaser gives us our first look at what will happen in the last episode before Poldark's 5th and probably final season. In the sneak peek, we see both George Warlegan, Jack Farthing, and Demelza asking questions about the parentage of Elizabeth Warlegan's, Haida Reid, child Valentine Raphael J. Bishop, and watch as Elizabeth gives birth to her third child. How to watch Poldark online. Trailer begins with yet another confrontation between George and Ross, as the former asks the latter, "What do you want, George?" We then get a very brief glimpse of what could be more one at Chinwoods, Alice Chapel, fate as she is chased through the woods by dogs. Then it is Elizabeth's turn to confront George. She says, "Will you never let go of your suspicions?" She is then seen in pain in her bed, presumably as the contractions start for the birth of her third child. Ross is then accusing someone, perhaps George again. He says, "You have wealth, power, position." Where is Poldark filmed? Demelza is speaking to someone in a graveyard, who looks like they are in mourning clothes. She later pays a visit to Valentine, who could be the illegitimate child her husband had with Elizabeth. However, we do not see who she is talking to. It could be Ross or George. We hear Elizabeth say, "He is your child." What is more certain, however, is that Ross and Demelza reunite after the events of Episode 7. They are seen together in the trailer, and Demelza pleads with her husband, Ross, "You cannot," and he warns her not to follow him. He says, "You have my family's home and you have Elizabeth." Then there is more of Ross confronting George. Can Poldark continue without Aidan Turner? George responds, "What are you going to do? Shoot me?" A reference to the events of last week's episode that saw him Moncadurley, Max Bennett, in a duel. Elizabeth says to George, "Your son is speaking to you." He replies, "Is he?" with the implication being he does not believe that Valentine is his. This leads to even more drama as George says to someone, most likely Elizabeth, "I understand the kind of trollop you are." Elizabeth bemoans not being able to prove Valentine's parentage just as the new baby starts to arrive. Before telling the person to get out of his house. Poldark fans can see the dramatic end to the Demelza Ross Elizabeth George love square this Sunday evening when Poldark Season 4 concludes. Poldark will air Sunday, July 23 at 9 p.m. on BBC One.